TSL Hyun once again sporting red. He is the Zerg player on the left side of Atlantis spaceship, and he is angry because he just lost his like 12 or 13 game win streak to this guy, Roxkiss Titan, the WCS Russia champion, the blue Protoss on the top side of Atlantis spaceship.
And you know, after 3 games, it can't be any closer than 2-1. So Titan.
That's a valid point. You're right.
He's done better than Grubbier Alive has done lately against Hyun. And obviously we've seen Hyun is a very, very good player in all matchups. But Titan had very, very good control that game. He's had good macro in the second and third game, especially the third game when we went to the third base. Much better move for him. His push was a lot better for it. It wasn't as all-in-ish. It was a lot more safe. He was economically even with Hyun, which not a lot of players have been able to do lately. I would really like to see him replicate some of that same success. And, Atlantis Spaceship is a really good map for that. We've seen a lot of Protoss, take the 4th as the 3rd instead because you can kind of defend them better. We'll see if he goes for that type of a build this time or if he goes back to the 2 base that he did in the first 2 games.
It dawns on me now that the first 2 games were so weird for Hyun. Like, the first game, obviously, the cannon rushed through everything kind of out of whack. Second game, he never got his natural. Actually, when he did try to establish his natural, cannons showed up again. So Ohana was the first time where he could actually just do his own build.
Yeah.
And he screwed it up.
I know.
He had some indecision. He was making drones when he probably should have had some units as Titan was being super aggressive on the left side of the map. Later on, he had a huge bank saved up, 1,300 and 1,000. And
it was weird.
It seemed like he was kind of like forgetting things in his build. It was not nearly as tight as it normally is, keeping all of his spending under control. So we'll see if Titan is going to continue messing with his head, trying to get him off his game and take advantage of it. This time he goes Nexus first before Forge, so Cannon's most likely not going to be making an appearance. Yeah,
so like similar to last game, he's not going to do any of the Cannon nonsense. Actually, 18 probes, super fast. I really like how Titan does this. His macro is very, very solid. We've seen that. And I think, in the first 2 games, he was just trying to be a little bit too cute. He did throw Hyun off the game, and it worked in the 3rd game. But, I wouldn't expect it to affect Hyun too much. This is a very, very good map for him. Obviously, he picked it. It's a very solid Zerg map. I'm assuming, if Hyun loses again, Daybreak will be the next map that he picks. Another great map that he's great on. We'll see exactly what Hyun wants to do now that Titan is basically showing him the exact same build. He knows it's Nexus first again. How is Hyun going to react to it differently this time? Or does he say, my build wasn't that tight, but I know I can do it better, and just do his same old bread and butter?
So, yeah, that's another interesting point you bring up, that Hyun did pick this map. He's going for the high yield Vespene Geyser, the triple gas base, very, very quickly. So that actually scares me for Titan's sake.
Yeah.
I don't know, because you got to think about this. Hyun picked this map. It's the first map he's gotten to pick in 16 games, like 14 games or whatever it is.
Yeah.
He's got something in mind. He might not have even thought he was going to have to pick a map this game. So, so who knows what we're going to be seeing out of this.
Yeah,
this
you usually don't
base.
see Zerg go for that base, as their 3rd. Protoss a little bit more common, especially because the extra gas helps them. But for Zerg, not that the gas doesn't help them, but it's more essential for Protoss, and it's a little bit harder for Zerg to defend. I'm actually really curious if this is going to be mutas, it's going to be a super fast tech, or is he just going to do standard? Because, like I said, it's kind of harder to defend that than it is to, defend the normal 3rd.
I think Mutalisks actually could be likely here. That is one of the most, it's one of the most expensive gas units that you kind of need a ton of gas to be effective. Like Infestors cost a lot of gas, Banelings cost a lot of gas, but you don't need so many to get a lot of impact. Mutas, you need a ton of gas to make that big cloud of mutas, so that your enemy just gets overwhelmed, or you can divide them and conquer mineral lines and stuff like that, force them to build cannons when they don't want to. It can really, really change the pace of the game, but it does require a ton of gas, and right now he hasn't even started to harvest any. So that's kind of surprising. Now putting up a couple of extractors for the first time.
Yeah, this is Hyun's game though. He usually waits pretty while on those. Still just doing his standard build, and looks like Titan, he's going with the exact same thing again as well, getting that early +1, do damage to the Zerglings, getting the 3 gateways. I'm assuming he was going to be building the Observer and then the Warp Prism and Immortals again. And we'll see, oh wow, instead going for a quick Twilight Council. So a little variation on the build. I don't actually, does he have a Robo yet?
No, I don't think so.
No, it just went straight to Twilight this time, so a little bit different there. Going for likely an early blink instead.
He still hasn't scouted. You can see 1 hex of
creep
here,
yeah.
but I have no idea if he's going to realize that or not.
No, he's actually looks like he's about to build a pylon to go into the 3rd instead.
That's right.
Yeah, so he thinks this is the 3rd, and there's not going to be anything there.
Very
so now
interesting.
Titan is very confused. He might just think this is 2 base for now, and he might not even check the where Hyun actually has his 3rd. Yeah.
So he might not. We do have a couple of Zealots and Stalker moving in. Obviously, that pylon is there still for future use. This probe is going to get killed off, and it looks like, wow, Titan actually survived that with both the Zealot and Stalker intact. He could actually kill this Queen if he's not careful, if Hyun's not careful. He's
yeah, and he's
back.
almost assuredly going to get
a larva
this.
eject at least.
And roaches pop out and divert the Stalker, so the Queen is going to live with just a little bit of HP, but a large follow-up coming. No roach speed yet, obviously, so they're going to be pretty slow off creep and going to be kited by the Stalkers, but there's no real push that can come from this at this point.
That's right. Titan is just going to keep these Stalkers alive as long as possible. He's actually going to warp in 3 more, sensing a little bit of a, maybe not an advantage, but now that he has a good gauge of how many units Hyun actually has on the field, he knows that Hyun is going to want to continue making workers, so if he can force him to make more fighting units.
Interesting note about this, still no Ling speed for Hyun. He hasn't even he just started it now. Again, 9-minute Ling speed.
All right, so Titan, I'm still not sure. No, he doesn't for sure know that.
No, I think he sees it now.
I
think he sees it now.
Now that a tumor is out, that creep is a little bit more spread out. You can see it from the Xel'Naga Tower now, and he takes out that Ling. He's not going to continue that assault, so Hyun obviously is going to get rid of this pylon near his 3rd location, so that's not a super threat anymore. Finally, the Stalkers do for sure figure out that this base is here. He can come in and start killing off a lot of drones. They're not going to have really any good escape path here.
He has to be careful. He doesn't have blink yet. He doesn't have a way to get out. He's going to have to stall a few more seconds to get blink.
I don't think he's going to get it, man. That's too much time. 15 more seconds to keep all these alive.
He should have waited.
That is a tall order to keep them alive for that long. Blink is not going to happen. He might get 1 out of here. Yeah, he does. Oh, 2, actually. But that was just devastating.
If he would have waited 10 seconds, all those Stalkers would have lived through that. Can we check the worker count real quick? Yeah, oh wow, it's only 50 for Hyun. I thought it would be much more, but a much larger army. I'm surprised why Titan doesn't have a larger army. He's 50 food down, and they're actually even in economy. Very unusual.
60 food down now, 22 wings in production, and the Stalkers are slowly getting whittled down by the roaches. You can see another big wave of 7 came in, but they're getting taken out between blinks. That's really bad. These speedlings are actually catching them between blinks, and now they're not blinking at all. There he goes, saving that one's life, but look at this. Hyun has so many roaches. He can probably just try to drop the hammer at the front now. That front is very weak looking.
Only 1
in
cannon.
Comparison. So we'll see if Hyun is going to keep the foot on the gas. He's got 9 more roaches, so he can continue to stream in from his main natural and 3rd base. If you see blinks back from Titan, so I'm going to keep just his Stalkers highlighted here, so we can see as their life starts to go down, how long he can actually keep them alive here. He's doing a good job. Roaches are falling. I haven't seen a single Stalker die yet, so he's doing an amazing job holding this.
Great
Hyun is actually
micro.
going to have to back off. Not a single Stalker was lost since I double-clicked them at the beginning.
That was absolutely amazing micro by Titan. And, roach speed just finished there as well. He might actually chase these down. He's going to have to be careful.
2 upgrades against 0 upgrades, too, but 19 more roaches coming. That's crazy.
All right, so he's going to see if he has good blink control. He's lost 1 Stalker now. Only lost 1, though. Okay, 1 more goes down, 2 more go down, but now the roach numbers are dwindling. You can see the upgrade advantage there. And now Titan actually has a little bit of an army advantage if he keeps this micro up.
Yeah, I don't know if he can really surge forward on this. He maybe should have thought about staying back a little longer, trying to establish a 3rd, because now, even blink or no blink, he is losing a lot of Stalkers as this goes on.
Oh, his reinforcements went from the pylon in the middle. So he's trying to advance, but I think he's overextending a little bit here.
It's kind of hard to say. I mean, they are trading very kind of equally.
Yeah,
141 workers killed by Titan. Resources lost, though. You can see, Titan's actually ahead. Look at that, only 39 against 141.
Very well played there, but he's going to have to either get a 3rd or tech up at this point, because just Stalkers is not going to cut it.
Right, it's going to be very hard for him to continue pressing in here. Burrow is obviously going to make a huge difference, so he doesn't have a robotics facility.
Which he still doesn't.
Which I believe, he does not have a robotics facility. I will go back and verify that before he lunges in here. Don't believe I've seen one yet.
So he's going straight with this as an all-in 7 gates with just Blink Stalkers. He's going to have to be very, very careful.
I really wonder if Burrow's going to screw up his day, because he could be fighting a huge Roach Force like this, and then they just burrow and regen.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how much Blink you have. I mean, that's going to be very, very hard to deal with. Didn't even get them all across the gap on that one. He does have a huge ball right here ready to go. Does not have +3 or anything else. I mean, just 2-0 Stalkers right now.
He is
not researching armor or anything. Is a little questionable, but he's trying to keep his control up as well as he can. Lings are definitely going to make Blink a little bit more less effective, as they can run in and actually chase down those injured ones. You can see Hyun actually pressing forward now. He does have 1-0 upgrades finally.
He gets all of those Stalkers that were warping in because he killed the pylon, and now Titan stuck, not even blinking away, was macroing at the time, and now he's way down.
No, Titan was he was instead switched over to this pylon, warping in these Stalkers here, but obviously did lose a few more Stalkers in the process. Hyun actually on his way back now, up 60 supply still. I mean, we showed those resources lost just a moment ago, and it was favoring Titan, but now definitely favoring Hyun, and he still has a large standing army, not making any more drones. 3 bases is all you'll see out of Hyun in this game. He's going to try and go for it. He doesn't know where the Stalkers are, apparently, as they are kind of circling around behind at the Zelnaga Tower, but he is just going to smash down this front and hope for the best.
Yeah, and you see Titan's way out of position, and now he's building sentries, but it is too late. Oh, Hyun is not really going to go for base trade. He sends some into the natural to kill off the probes, but he's sending most of his army back, and I think Titan's really made a mistake here. This is all the army he's going to get to help out for a while, and it is not enough.
The supply difference alone now is going to be enough to decide this. Look at that, 100 supply difference. Obviously, the Lings back over at Titan's natural are going to kill that off. If he loses that Nexus, he does not have a 3rd base. It's going to be extremely hard to come back from that, and yeah, wow, he actually leaves the Nexus standing. That's kind of interesting, but right now, obviously, he takes out the Cybernetics Core, no more Stalkers can be made, so that's another high-value target. There are some Sentries and Zealots there, but I don't know why.
Why did he leave?
Hyun, I mean, he basically just wanted to reform here. He got the Stalker count low enough now that he's not afraid of it, because new Roaches popping out will be able to stop that. I think he wanted to just reform everything and go for that death blow, but right now he's still just kind of posturing around looking for these Stalkers that he knows are out on the field there. As they wandered onto the creep, that just sealed the deal. He's going to flank from both sides, so even a blink is not going to help him out too much. 1-0 upgrades,
there.
Definitely going to be able to kill off these Stalkers. Look at that, he's got them surrounded on all 3 sides. He is going to be able to blink away, but only 3 Stalkers remaining. Not a huge deal for this massive number of Roaches here. There's the GG from Titan. Wow.
Yeah, so Titan just, he had a good push for a while there, but he just